Welcome back to 80s Comics, where I'll take a trip to the future and review a modern comic book. This is Star Wars TIE Fighter from Marvel Comics. A short comic book series, 5-part series, featuring TIE fighters and TIE fighter pilots, arguably some of the best looking Star Wars characters of all. Everyone loves TIE fighters, and TIE fighter pilots are badass. Is the comic badass? That cover certainly is. You got to admire that cover. The whole series has great covers, as you'll see when I review them here on 80s Comics. Taking a trip to future year. I don't know what year this is. It doesn't matter because it sucks. TIE fighters, though, they're pretty cool. So let's check it out. Star Wars TIE Fighter. Seriously, though, this issue, in fact, this whole series will show you everything that's right about modern comic books and wrong. It has it all. The good and the bad. But not the ugly, because that's absolutely beautiful. Really nice. Let's swipe. I'm reading this on iPad. Part of the good. A lot of these modern comics, not all of them, but a lot of the modern comics actually look better on the digital screen. It's like they glow. Especially this one. I mean, it looks great. This whole series looks good. It's a good looking comic book. The artwork is nice. The coloring is, I think, spectacular. I'll get to the writing later. That's the issue. But the color, the art, and the style are just beautiful. It's a great looking comic book. Perhaps you'd actually be better off not even reading it. Just look at the pretty pictures. These modern comics generally give you a lot less reading and far fewer panels than the old school ones. So it's a really fast read. So if you have Marvel Unlimited, you've already got these, just read them all, breeze through them. But look at that. That looks really nice. Who doesn't like TIE fighters blowing things up? Stupid rebel scum. He deserved it, probably. Some TIE interceptors, Star Destroyers blowing things up, space. It's all good. And a quick summary of your characters that you will soon forget and not care about at all. Sorry, gotta say, that's the problem with this series, is you're just not going to like any of the pilots. What you really want to do is just focus on the cool TIE fighters. I feel like this one was a bit of a missed opportunity. Just forget the pilots. Focus on the TIE fighters. But we get these 5 pilots. Tesso Bruce, Ganem, whatever. Zim, Gila, she's the best of the bunch, and Leighton. Gila's probably the only one that should come out of this with her own book, because she's actually pretty cool. There's Gila. Rocking the awesome TIE fighter pilot bodysuit. It was always one of my favorite Star Wars figures. So these two are an item, as you see. Did you know that TIE fighter pilots could hooked up and yeah, see? The things you learn. I don't like that they try to put a face onto the Empire. I like the Empire more when it was just like a bunch of evil goons up to no good. So here's the thing. You know how I mentioned there were 5 pilots? There's 5 pilots. That's like entirely too many pilots to care about. There's too many characters to care about all at once. So this is a little bit confusing. It's like they may as well start talking about like trade federations in the Senate or something. But the pilots have to go and rescue this Star Destroyer, I guess. Something like that. I'm going to zoom in on that shot because it's really cool. Someone is jamming long-range transmissions with Raspberry. Sorry. I had to do it. Any chance I get to work a Spaceballs joke into it poorly, I'll find a way to do that. Looks great. It's really fast read. Unlike, it's really fun to go from like an old Conan where it takes like an hour to read it to this book, which takes like 2.5 minutes. It does look nice though. You can double tap to zoom in on the Star Destroyer. So like before the book even gets started, it's already over. So I know they sell these as single issues, but if you're going to read Star Wars TIE Fighter, you want to read all 5 issues together. And even then, I think at the end you'll be like, what, that was it? But okay. Star Wars TIE Fighter takes place after the Battle of Hoth, but before the Death Star is destroyed in Return of the Jedi. It's a fun read, a fast read. Like most of these newer comics, I'm not sure it's worth $4, but if you can get it digitally for half of that or a fraction of that, or just with Marvel Unlimited or something, which I actually like Marvel Unlimited, it's a beautiful book. And perhaps you'll like the characters more than me, you know. Not a single one of those characters killed Jar Jar Binks, so, you know, that's what it takes to earn my respect. Just blow up Jar Jar in like the second page. I mean, I would be sold. I'll cover some more of these Star Wars comics. I'll tell you right now, my favorite modern Star Wars comic is Dr. Aphra. But this is TIE Fighter, coming to you from 80s comics, from the future, a future that you would prefer was 1980.